everybody. We're here, casting AD2L. We got Victoria's Secret versus Z Factor. We're going into AD2L for the very first time, and with me is a slightly more veteran of the AD2L scene. It's Staged.
Are you calling me old?
I'm calling you experienced.
That sounds like old to me.
Wizened.
Okay, I'll take wizened. I'm kind of like Coddle of the Light.
Exactly.
I'm the old hippie man.
You're not old. Don't worry.
Oh, okay. I'm glad to hear that. Victoria's Secret and Z Factor stands to be a awesome match, though. Victoria's Secret, definitely a legacy team here in the Divine League, and they have an incredible work ethic. If you're anywhere around AD2L, you'll have heard of these guys. Z Factor coming up from the mid ranks, only one win behind Victoria's Secret, so it's going to be a really tight series.
Yeah, and it's an important one as well. Z Factor are not favored to win, so it could be a big upset.
Yeah, Z Factor. There's one of the cool things about AD2L is one of the community members has a statistics-driven power ranking set that they do every single week. And I believe Victoria's Secret is set at 3rd in the Divine Division, and Z Factor is around 7th. So they're only one game behind, but they're trailing by a couple of places. And I think that this is kind of the opportunity for a bit of comeuppance, a bit of saying, hey, we're a little more competitive than you gave us credit for.
Yeah, man. That's what I love to see. And I feel like, at least back when I played, as we're getting into the draft now, back when I played, these are always the most exciting matches to play as the team from behind. You want to show your stuff.
Most definitely. And we're going to already see the bans coming out. These feel so targeted. I've done my homework, and this looks like bans just aimed directly at each other. Pot shots.
Oh, yeah? Well, I've got to say, Doom, I feel like, is a first ban material no matter what team you're playing against. That hero just seems to always do well.
10 seconds remain.
Yeah, that's going to be targeting Geom. You don't want him to be taking that. He's got a lot of very active offlaners and people that are going to be making a lot of pressure on the map, and Doom definitely falls in that category once he hits level 6.
Gotcha. So they still like to play that Doom from the 3? They're not switching over to the mid yet?
Not yet, I don't think so. You're going to usually find some of the AD2L teams a little bit behind the pro meta.
Gotcha. Oh, I think Doom's still good, but we got a Venomancer.
Ooh.
He's Venomancer I consider to be like a techie's light, in that he forces you to play Dota different. You can't just have a standard game against a Venom.
Venomancer makes it so hard to take any lane control, and just the areas in the map that he's on, it's like you've got visible techies minds, you're right, but there's so much control that he exerts. Yeah, very toxic hero.
Yeah, in more ways than one. But Abaddon I like as a counter. I mean, obviously not just a hard counter to it, but the purges, very good. Makes it much more playable against.
We're going to be seeing the Abaddon trying to time his shield after the Venomous Gale from Venomancer, and it turns into a bit of like a back and forth, chicken and egg, a Tom and Jerry game there.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And we also got a Lich. He's interesting to me. He offers a lot of team fight, but I don't know. I feel like Lich a little weak outside of that team fight a lot of times.
One of the things that I want to be seeing too is what kind of carry you're going to send with the Lich. That Frost Shield ability from Lich, the damage reduction is absolutely nutty. That's before you even factor in the slow. So if you've got someone who wants to be a little bit more aggressive in lane, then it can work out pretty nicely with a Lich.
I'll tell you, the classic that I always like is I love the Lich Juggernaut.
Absolutely.
That's just always an exciting. But Sand King is a bit more difficult to get on top of, even with that slow.
So Sand King Abaddon, I think, is really interesting here. You both of them could be flexed into support, both of them could be 3, but we're almost guaranteed that one of them is going to be farming the offlane. The question is who?
Absolutely. Well, you know what? I don't know how common you see it here, but it could be the case. Whenever I see a Sand King picked up nowadays, it's always where they kind of have the split farming in the off lane. You know, they'll pair it with like a Puck or something. The Sand King can get some farm, so can Puck, and they come out with 2 really strong heroes in the mid game.
I think that could work great with Abaddon.
Yep.
And it gives you a lot of room for aggression. It gives you a lot of room for saves. And I think that that's possibly a pretty good answer, but it's not going to do anything to the Venomancer, who's probably playing the offlane. So that'll come around to the mid game, give you a chance of closing on him, killing or saving whoever he gales, but it's still not going to be quite the lane answer that you'd want to see just yet.
Yeah, and I'll tell you, Veno, he hurts a lot of what I consider to be like the traditional carries, right? You don't want to lane into him with the melee core, which puts out like the Spectres, the Terror Blades to an extent. Even like a Lifestealer doesn't like being constantly beat down by that poison.
I think Juggernaut's a pretty good answer. If you've got the healing ward even at level 1, if you control it well, you can mitigate most of the chip damage, and then you can just spin right through Venomous Gale to get on top of Eno and kill his squishy self.
Oh yeah, absolutely. But that's the thing. I like Jug all the time. I think he's always stable, you know. I feel like he has very few poor matchups. So, you know, either team, I think, could definitely stand to pick him up and benefit from that.
Now, one of the things that I have noticed from Z Factor is they're a really big fan of these tempo heroes, especially out at the mid lane. They want a good pusher, someone who's going to threaten towers early, and then they're going to have their position 1 be a heavy late game fighter like a Spectre or a Medusa. So, we're already seeing Victoria's Secret's bans targeting a lot of those tempo heroes that you'd see. The Necrophos, the Leshrac. I think we're going to see one more mid-targeted ban here in this phase.
Yeah, definitely. I think, you know, if you're looking to gear up and push, but also have some solid team fight and make it hard to go on, I feel like Death Prophet. Very good all-in-one solution for that. Maybe.
And that's one of the heroes that they love to play as well.
Okay, yeah, I mean, it fits. She checks all the boxes. She's tempo, she has push, she has fight. But the hard carry's getting banned out.
So, definitely targeting cores, and now you got the Faceless Void. Ooh.
Oh, yeah,
very
no,
interesting pickup here.
You know, I think there's not a lot to really work with him. Obviously, you can Epicenter and blink in. But I think one of the things with Faceless Void is he's just always, more so than a lot of other heroes, he's someone that you always have to plan around and play around. The Chronosphere in the early game can set up for a kill, and in the late game, he'll just get 2 kills if he Chronos 2 people.
I think in these heroes, in this hero matchup that we're seeing, I would much rather have Z Factor pick the Faceless. So I think this is more of a denial pick than one that's strictly a synergy on Victoria's Secret.
Yeah, I think the one major issue I see with the Faceless Void, and one of the reasons why I think you might be right, is because Faceless Void doesn't like laning against a hero like Venomancer. Faceless Void wants burst damage, not slow dot that just breaks you down over time.
But we'll have to see. You do have the Epicenter, and if Victoria's Secret is able to get some really clutch Chronospheres that catch the Lich, that catch the Venomancer, and maybe one more hero who's got lockdown on Z Factor's lineup that we'll see later in the draft, it stands to be a huge impact.
Oh boy, an Elder Titan. You got any inside knowledge on if this is going to be on what position this will be running? Because it can kind of go anywhere.
Yeah, this is a new one for me. I have scouted out Z Factor, and I have not seen that hero picked up yet at all.
So it's this. I've been seeing it more. I think his Aghanims is very strong. He offers a lot of team fight. But you know what I think I might want to see out of Victoria's Secret now? Maybe you pick up the Phoenix.
Phoenix has already been banned. First
Oh,
banned
you're
by
right.
Victoria's Secret.
Never mind. I'm incorrect.
Radiant's turn.
But this is interesting because Elder Titan is a natural punish to the Chronosphere.
Yeah,
And it's going to
absolutely.
force Faceless to pick up a BKB a lot earlier than he wants to.
Yeah, and, it's one of the big two. The other one being that Albert can really ruin a Faceless Void's day. But we got an Underlord. I like Underlord a lot. I think he's very stable for an offlaner.
Definitely. He's not going to be the kind of hero that's going to go and kill your safe laner. And that also means that we know where the Abaddon and Sand King are, and so far this is an all-melee Victoria's Secret lineup.
That's always scary. Into Elder Titan, into Lich, even into Veno. All those heroes like clumped up melee heroes.
And I mean, I guess the advantage that you have is you've got 2 heroes in Victoria's Secret who like to dive the backline and 2 that like to midline. So you do have some of that staggering a little bit, but Drow against a Void and a Sand King?
I was gonna say, that's a lot of catch for the Drow. Maybe with the Elder Titan and the Lich, they have enough protection, but they don't really have any form of save for the Drow. So if she gets gone on, she's probably just dead.
The other thing I'm thinking as well is that Elder Titan and Drow are almost anti-synergistic. Think about Elder Titan's passive.
That's true. You're losing on the value. That armor.
Because, yeah, Drow's just going to chunk through their base armor, but Elder Titan does the exact same thing with an aura. You're losing a lot of the value of the Drow. I can't wait to see what they do with this pick because it feels off in my head.
Yeah, they need something to secure this Drow a bit more. Right now, she feels on the edge of a cliff, we'll say. She may get pushed off by Dire. They need to find the handrails to protect her from being shoved.
So, I'm assuming that the Elder Titan is going off lane, although we could see him in the mid lane as well. And Victoria's Secret is banning out as though they expect him to be off lane, so both teams are looking for a mid laner, it would appear.
Yeah, it looks that way. I think if you're on Z Factor, you need a mid laner that can get involved in fights and stand in the middle of them. But
Definitely.
I think Victoria's Secret has a lot more options.
I want to see somebody with good kill close from Victoria's Secret. They have so much damage over time. They have a lot of ability to catch people. I want to see someone who's a good ganker to secure that mid game.
Well, unfortunately, Storm and Void Spirit both banned out. Maybe a Queen of Pain.
I think Queen of Pain would be a fantastic pick for Victoria's Secret.
Offers them quite a bit of damage and more catch for the Drow. The one thing for Z Factor is they're real light on lockdown. Okay, a DK! That's a hero that'll stand in the middle of a fight.
And we definitely saw that being set up as well. Z Factor knew they wanted it, so they banned the Viper in the last phase. One of the few heroes that would make Dragon Knight more vulnerable, and that really rounds up their lineup. I like what I'm seeing out of Z Factor as a tempo and push lineup.
Yeah, definitely. I was thinking something like the DK, maybe a Kunkka, someone that can fight, get involved, is a little bit tankier. Now, Dire's turn to respond, and luckily, whatever mid laner they pick is going to do fine in the mid lane. That's the one thing you give up with the DK, is you don't really threaten anyone.
Okay, Sniper. I was actually hoping for something like an Invoker, but Sniper is alright as well.
Yeah, it
Gives
offers
them a lot of consistent damage.
Offers them some more damage. I feel like I as well would like to see like an Invoker or a Queen of Pain more, something with some more burst. But we'll have to see. He obviously can deal damage into the Chrono, and they do have quite a few ways of dealing damage into the Chrono. But both teams have a pretty squishy core in the Drow and the Sniper.
So it's going to be a matter of just who can close in first and really put the hurtin' on the Protected.
And I think Dire definitely has the advantage there, especially in the early game. Maybe a blink comes out on DK and things change, but a lot of natural catch and initiation on their side.
I think that for Z Factor, this entire game is going to revolve around Dops, and he is going to need the game of a lifetime for Z Factor to come out ahead.
Yeah. One solid stomp could win them a game in that mid to late game. He catches a bunch of different people. The combination of him and the Lich and the Venom, it's a lot of damage.
Absolutely.
But I gotta say, I like this Victoria's Secret draft, though. I think it's more, the ease of execution is higher. I always like to see that.
Yeah, I think they're going to have a really fantastic game, and just seeing the draft, I'm able to see why they are such heavy favorites in this league.
Yeah,
there's
absolutely.
a lot of synergy, and they feel just a very coherent team, both in planning and execution, even if it is a little bit memey in having 4 melee heroes.
Yeah, but they're 4 very strong melee heroes. They're all hard to kill. And I think that's, despite them being 4 melee, it doesn't feel like they're just going to get balled up and kited. They feel very mobile, and they feel like they're able to move around and survive whatever Radiant throws at them.
Definitely. They have a lot of clothes, they have a lot of options in the early and mid game, and I'm hoping that turns this into an extremely dynamic game instead of just a farm fest.
30 seconds.
I definitely think it's going to go that way. It seems like both teams have lineups that want to fight a lot. They've got good catch, they've got good fight, and neither of them really have that traditional hard farming hyper carry. Void kind of fills that role, but not to the degree of like the Spectres and the Terrorblades. He'll still get involved with the Chronosphere.
So we're going to have to see how it goes in this bounty rune fight.
Looks like Abaddon tried to make a sneaky play, but it will just turn out to be a 2 for 2. Although Sniper is missing his block. Abaddon's here to save it, though.
Dom Bomb being just active all over the map, even at the very start of the game. Away from the safe lane, but I don't think we'll see any problem out of Void for the first little bit as he blocks up and gets ready to go.
Oh yeah, I think it's gonna be interesting. Which lane do you think is gonna be the most active? Because I think mid lane is just a boring lane.
I think that we're going to see a lot out of the bottom lane. You wouldn't expect it from an Underlord, but because of the fact you're dealing with a Drow Ranger who's so important to shut down early, I think the Sand King is going to be playing very active and aggressive against it, and we'll see a lot of playmaking from Priora on Lich.
And with that Burrow Strike, there is always the potential to get a kill with that combination. RAC and Flupper pull back, second creep wave, but it doesn't look like he's taking it behind tower traditionally here.
He's trying to move all the way around. Look at Priora trying to cut this off.
I'm not sure where this is going.
I think it's going to end up resetting the creeps. He's going to go all the way back to
is he going to take this mid?
He's going to take it behind the mid tier 2.
Oh no, he's pulling it back. Lich trying to pull it, but I don't think those creeps are going to catch up.
Not quite. Oh my god, this is going behind the tier 2. Lich is still
and he's not going to get the wave. Oh, he gets just the range creep.
This is absolutely
and his courier might go down too. It will.
Priora already taking my heart here. Feels like an MVP. Might get the kill on Flupper.
I think he's just going to get out. I think he's just barely got the HP. He does get the level 2.
But in doing so, you actually stole experience away from the Underlord. That attempt to pull the creeps back to safety just ended up giving Drow a phenomenal lane advantage.
Yeah, that's part of the big thing with the pull through, right? Is you have to meet it with the next wave so that it serves as a pull as well. Now when it didn't meet up, it just pushed the lane for Drow, and she's already got a level advantage now.
And it took an entire wave away from experience for the Underlord. Imagine if the Sand King would have died there, how much of a snowball advantage that would have turned into.
Yeah, absolutely. But it looks like now, with the Lich being forced to pull, they'll be able to get some harass into the Drow. And Drow, still despite that, not doing amazing in the safe lane. Only has 9 CS.
I've always found that Drow is a little bit hard to farm on in the early game, even with the improvements to her animation. It's still just really clumsy, and unless you specialize on the hero, it is so hard to farm with her.
Yeah, absolutely. Especially into just the massive damage of the Underlord. But it looks like they might be trying to get some fighting in. And both teams are at risk. The Ice Arrow, the split shot, not going to get a kill.
Love and Laughter is doing a great job of keeping these heroes low, but there's not a lot of close potential yet out of this lane. We're going to need to see Frost Armor probably come out and catching Flupper overcommitting for a kill, for any kills to happen.
Yeah, Flupper does have that Burrow Strike to get himself out. But I am still scared of the combination of the Frost Arrows and the Frost Blast. A lot of slow.
Flupper out of mana, doesn't even have a Mango. He's going to have to suicide in towards tower, I think. Nah, his boots advantage is enough.
Be able to walk away from this one for now, but... Meanwhile...
Top lane, a solo kill.
The first one to die. It's a little bit surprising. Feels like Abaddon is a tough kill in that early game.
Dops was going pretty hard on the harass early on, just using that Astral Spirit to increase his own damage and make it very hard for the Abaddon to be anywhere near that lane. So Dom Bomb gets a free trip back to Fountain for a little bit of gold.
Yeah. It's not the worst to lose out to an Elder Titan. You're going to have some free XP on Kira here.
I think the more important thing is that the kill happened very far away from the lane, so there wasn't any experience trickling over to the Venomancer. And meanwhile, Abaddon has not been even touching the wave experience, taking away from Kira.
He's getting off ahead, but look at this. The Lich is going to secure his team 4 bounty runes by his little maneuver there.
Flupper is just having a really, really difficult lane now. He's running the Clarity to try and get the mana back, but he's not able to make a lot of the action happen that he wants to see. And so it's giving the Drow just a phenomenal lane. Even if she's not farming well, she's not being pressured at all.
Yeah, and that's kind of one of the things with the Sand King in particular, is sometimes when you're playing it as a 4, it can feel a little rough if you don't get off to a good start. And he's definitely not getting off to the best of starts this game.
It feels a little coarse, if you will.
Ooh, that was,
I apologize.
No, don't worry. My only regret is my brain wasn't fast enough to think of a follow-up for it.
Contest in the mid lane, this might actually be a dead DK.
Or it might be a dead sniper. He has the bottle, he has the stun, he's putting out the poison. I don't know if Viper's going to be able to get out. Or it's Viper, if he's going to survive the poison. Poison got me thinking of Viper, and both of them will live.
A trade kill in the bottom lane, leaving the 2 cores alive and the 2 supports dead.
Yes, but importantly, I think it was the Lich that went down first. So, Flupper, getting that XP.
Really needs it. We're seeing Dops go crazy aggressive in the top lane. Take a look at this.
They're going in hard. Flupper is here to contest, but this is just the thing, is you've got a Venomancer at level 5, 3 points in the wards, no one can survive the pressure. They don't have anything that's really effective at clearing it, and obviously Kira can't backtrack off this damage, so it's going to be very difficult for him to stay in lane. And in fact, Flupper coming here with the Sandstorm might be able to actually hit these wards.
Not for long, though. You have so much pressure. Dobbs trying again with the Astral Spirit is going to deal a ton of damage. They're looking for Kira before he hits 6.
They're just... If they can get this tower, it'll be huge. And look at Dobbs' damage! as he's
Dear
just
God.
clapping that Sand King.
Remind me not to get in a bar fight with that man.
Oh no, he'll hit you. He'll hit you. He'll pick up his briefcase from under the bar, and he'll start smacking you with it. But down bottom, Underlord has just left the lane. Drow is now actually free to farm as much as she wants.
So I wonder what the first item we're going to be seeing out of her outside of the basic stats items. It looks like it will be a Dragon Lance into a Yasha based on the quick buy queue. That's pretty standard for Drow.
I think the Manta, when it comes, will definitely be useful to get out of things like the Hit of Malice. Just giving you that quick purge for it. Plus, eventually getting that tankiness so that if you do get chronoed, you may survive. Could be exceptionally helpful. And I just can't take my eyes away from these Plague Wards top!
It's disgusting, man. Sniper's having himself a pretty good lane in mid so far. Farming even with the DK, but constantly keeping DK low on health. You expect that...
the Chrono up top! They're trying to go onto the Sand King, but a 3-man stop! Or the Sand King trying to go onto Venom, but he'll walk away.
It's so difficult for them to leave their tower in the top lane. You've got 3 heroes committed here. You have a constant stream of shields and heals going into Kira, and even with that, you are still just constantly having your creep shoved under tower.
This is exactly what I was talking about. Venomancer forces this movement. Forces 3 people here. You have to play different. And meanwhile, down bottom now, Drow is free to pressure a tier 1 of her own.
It's very unusual for this to be the first tower to fall. The catapult might take it.
He throws the rock, and he'll get it.
That's the first tower down. It's very unusual in any game for it to be the safe lanes tier 1.
Yeah, absolutely. But soon to follow, the top tower, they're forced to fortify because DK is also Dragon Form the mid.
This is all 3 towers in danger. A fight at bottom.
Oh, yeah, it looks like they'll take out the Drow, and they're hunting for more. They want to get onto this Lich. They don't have a pit. They don't have the range on the Burrow Strike, but it's getting there closer and closer. It will pop into range now. And he'll pop it, and the salve will do nothing. And that will secure them 3 bounty runes. So a good time for those kills, but at the cost of the remaining tier 1s.
So that's all of the tier 1s that we've already seen Z take out, which Z Factor means that they're not going to have to deal with that glyph reset anytime soon.
Yeah, and they're now in a position. This is one of the things, is Faceless Void. Doesn't need a lot, but he needs some items, and he's nowhere near even his Mask of Madness. And he's going to be hard-pressed to find farm. As look at this! Dop! She's going in! And there's the Chain Frost! It bounces to the creeps, very unfortunate, but it likely will still come back in time to get the Sniper. They'll also take out the Abaddon. He didn't have his ultimate yet. Kira trying to get in onto Prior, now going to TP out. There's no stun. Oh, the root comes just a second too late. But now, Flupper, he decides he wants to go in. He pops the Epicenter, does some good damage. But all of Radiance here, and now Geom's at risk.
That fight took a surprising turn. I thought that was going to be so one-sided in favor of Z Factor, because they've really been showing me that I was wrong about their draft. These guys really understand how to execute what they want. But with the turn, with the Underlord coming in, with the Aphotic Shield from Abaddon, it really turned into a surprisingly even fight that I thought was just going to swing one way.
Yeah. And a lot of it, I think, does come down to how unfortunate those Lich bounces were. Just bouncing around on the Centaurs, not able to get those kills. But now, Dawn Bomb has his ult, so that won't happen again.
Kira dangerously close. You've got the Sniper playing around as well. This positioning is so fragile for both of these teams, and I really can't wait to see just
Xena.
a fight come in.
He goes in. The Chrono is available if they want to pop it, but Faceless Void is just farming the safe lane, decides to let his Sand King fall. But now they're also going to lose the Sniper, and that's a much worse kill. The shield comes out. He's still up for now. A big pit from the Underlord, but still, Thops proving her power. And Kira shows up with the Chronosphere. Right now, a 2-for-4 trade, but I don't think this Void's going to get out if Lich has the pull, but he doesn't, but it doesn't matter. That's a wipe for Dire.
So this is one of the crazy things you see in the Divine League, though, and one of the things that really makes a good Dota player is take a look at the Drowse item, take a look at the Dragon Knights items. They have nothing, but they're still fighting. They're not afraid of slowing their timings down by putting pressure on the map because they know when they're strong.
Yeah, absolutely. And they're strong with their abilities, and this Void they know is definitely not, as he's still struggling for that Mask of Madness here.
We're going to see the timing for the Dragon Lance between the Drow and the Sniper be almost exactly identical, but Drow just feels so much stronger with her abilities.
And we might not see it as the Stomp is coming out onto the Sniper. They found him. That's 2 in a row. And they know about this stack now.
A little bit of a possible pick onto the Venomancer if you're not seeing this.
Yeah, they're trying, but Veno's hard to get on top of. Kira decides that he's going to go for the Plague Ward, but another one pops up. That's the other issue.
That's the way it works. Venomancer's like a Hydra.
Yeah.
You kill one Plague Ward and 2 more take its place.
Man, this whole time, Void not farming, not CSing.
I mean, take a look at how far away the Sand King still is from having his Blink Dagger. He's not even a hero, in my opinion, until he has that.
Yeah, he's definitely, this is the suffering put on by the poor Sand King start on the position 4. Just feels like there's no real recovery. They're looking for Kira now. They know that there's no Chrono for a significant amount of time. Stops is going to get a huge sleep here. On to 3, committing for the Sniper first. DK, though, pops the stun onto the Faceless Void. Faceless Void will get out. Another unlucky bounce for the Lich and a huge burrow into Epi. They're going to take out Priora. They're going to take out the Elder Titan as well. And now things are looking dicey for Radiant. Venomancer pops the ult. It's a lot of damage, but it's non-lethal. But the wards are here to make it lethal. And that went beautifully for Dire.
Absolutely. Victoria's Secret taking that fight handily. What looked like a fantastic initiation, great saves by Abaddon, great just positioning with the Atrophy Aura from Underlord. Just preventing so much of the damage you would otherwise see, the bonus from Elder Titan, the base damage from Drow Ranger, all of it just being cut out for the most part.
Yeah, and the huge 3-man Burrow Strike from the Sand King to really turn it around. And this poor Lich! Every time Priora tosses a Chain Frost, it never bounces the way you want.
One of the things that a lot of people will overlook about Epicenter as an ability, too, is that attack speed slow. It is so good in this game against an Elder Titan, against a Dragon Knight, the Vino, and the Drow. All of them really hate to have their attack speed slowed.
Yeah, absolutely. None of these heroes want to be hitting slow. But now, it might be dangerous for Radiant, as the Chronosphere is back up, Sniper's in position, Venomancer is standing his ground, most of Radiant behind him. The one thing, though, is this whole time Drow's been farming, and now taking the top net worth position. But they're going to make the go. On to Venomancer. They'll Chrono for the Venomancer. And I think if you're Radiant, you'll just retreat and take that.
Drow has her Yasha on the way, and they wanted to fight around that item timing, but instead, that jump in for the Chronosphere, just looking phenomenal. Flupper now trying to pick off some crows.
He's on the back. He will get liches, but in exchange, they're losing the Faceless Void. And Sand King now on the back line. They do have a sentry already in place. It looks like Lich is likely to go down here, getting surrounded by the side of Dire. But Radiant want to push in. The ultimate is back online for the Abaddon. He is a very hard kill to acquire. The silence onto Flupper, and he takes 2 of the big damage hits from Drow, but Drow doesn't focus, now does, and they'll kill the Sand King as well, and now you're definitely happy with that, especially if you catch the sniper in the jungle.
Oh, the stomp is so brutal. They get
Tries
the stun
to
out as
TP.
well.
And now
Oh my
Guillaume's
God.
back. He's at risk. And that's the thing, is as Radiant, you're confident to take that fight because the Chronosphere was used on the Venom. You know it's a solid fight opportunity.
This is just huge. We're seeing the cores from Z-Factor starting to really come online. They're each about 2,000 gold ahead of their counterparts.
Yeah,
It's looking really good for them. That's a half a major item.
they're taking off, and this is the perfect timing for Radiant because now you've taken that tier 2 at 18 minutes, outpost available. This is how you start driving that lead further.
Definitely. With the full level lead on 2 of their cores, and the supports all firmly ahead of anybody on Victoria's Secret, I think that we're going to be seeing a lot more pressure and really just a downhill run out of Z-Factor.
Yeah, it's going to be very hard for them to get back into this. They need to make a smoke play. The one thing that we haven't really seen from either side is a smoke play. They're probably going to want to wait for Chrono, but I would love to see it come out. So far, both teams just fighting without it.
Yeah, with the Blink Daggers and some of the innate mobility that you have on Victoria's Secret, both teams have a good amount of catch. The difficult part is being able to follow it up or get catch without reinforcement.
Yeah, but Radiant, they might be in trouble. DK getting focused. The epicenter, the damage, he has the full stick. He's trying to fly 1 second on the blink. The stun misses. He manages to blink. Sand King chooses not to chase. And
That
now it's
hero
turning
is
into a
so
fight.
hard to kill.
Venomancer here, ready to ultimate whenever. He needs to pop it soon before he goes down. Will do so now. DK once again in trouble, but on the backline, Sniper going down. Chronosphere is popped. The DK will fall. Venomancer somehow survives. But now the high ground is in favor of the Radiant. And they'll take out the Underlord as well, and they're going to hunt for more. Dops, the stomp coming up soon. And where's Kira going to go? He is going to get the dodge, but Abaddon is less likely to survive. The TP out from him, but the fear onto the Faceless Void. The damage, he tries to jump, but it's not enough. Now the 20 minutes pops. At least Flupper manages to take a bounty rune. Do you have that?
I was talking at the beginning of this game about how Dops needed to have the game of his life on this Elder Titan, and I have not seen him drop a single ability yet. Everything is coming up Millhouse for this man.
Yeah. Also, I have been informed, Dops is a gamer girl, so it is she.
My apologies.
Don't worry, I didn't know either. So, someone in chat pointed it out.
Well, Dops is absolutely mad and definitely serving as a huge credit to team.
Yeah, she is clapping with those huge stomps. And you know, I feel like the classic Elder Titan new hero meme is falling out, because Elder Titan doing work in a lot of games now. Radiant gonna get this Roshan for free. Sand King is not going to get killed.
Tried to smoke in, immediately broken by the Venomancer.
That's the raps when you're up against the Veno, as he farms 4 camps and is a smoke popper.
Yeah, it's difficult to blink in. Flupper like 2 ships passing in the night away from the Venomancer.
Veno gives him a poison sting for his trouble. And Kira desperately trying to farm, going for that MKB, the typical damage item that we see.
I love what Flupper's doing here on the back line. He's just going to cut waves, trying to explore, trying to pull the Z-Factor away from their front line and just cause some chaos, because he knows he's not doing much in these team fights.
Absolutely. And you know, this is kind of what you have to do, but Kira, you're going to be in trouble. The silence comes out. Absolutely no way to purge it. The blink, the stun, the damage is there, and Kira take it out. And that opens up high ground.
Not even a single tier 1 gone for Z-Factor. They are soundly ahead in this game, even with only 9,000 gold advantage.
Absolutely. They have the map control, and while Flupper is doing a good job of getting out on those sidelines, getting the farm where he can, the rest of his team is forced in base. The Underlord has run out of camps to steal. Will cut mid, it looks like. But he's also under a tier 1.
This is looking absolutely terrifying when you just take a look at the amount of damage that Love and Laughter is throwing out right now.
Absolutely. And Elder Titan is working on the Solar Crest to amplify that further. Oh no, Dops! The sleep! Set up for by the stun from the Dragon Knight, but now they might be in a bit of trouble.
Exemplary play from that, just to show how far ahead they are as well. The Assassinate onto the Venomancer is barely even scratching.
Void chronoed. I don't know what he chronoed. I didn't see it if it was not a whiff, but Drow loses the Aegis from the epicenter. The big ultimate from Veno hits a lot of heroes. They're going to lose the Dragon Knight. They're going to probably have to get back. There's the Manta to get out. Oh, there's the Chain Frost bouncing between 2 heroes. It's going to kill them both. And that's a double kill, taking out the Sniper and the Underlord. Now Drow with the Silence will get purged off by the Abaddon, but the fear's there. He goes down. No buyback. This is absolutely going to be a lane of racks at the least.
Priora getting redemption for some of those whiff Chain Frosts early and the bad bounces, getting just a perfect setup.
Oh, Flupper tries to delay, but will just pay with his life.
Buys about 3 seconds closer to a respawn, but that's still gonna leave the lane of Rex completely open.
And it still just feels impossible to fight. You've used the chrono. I don't know if you accidentally cast it somewhere, or if it was just at the bot lane when we were looking mid, but it didn't have any effect. So, now, that's their big fighting tool.
I think it was about 30 seconds before we started to see them, so it must have been looking for a pick. And as soon as that's up, it means that you've got that time written down. You know how much time you've got.
Yeah, and that's just the one thing is, the big problem is, you have Epicenter, you have Chrono, but how do you fight when you don't have that? You don't.
Yeah, the only answer is you don't fight. You have to play away. And that's not an option when you've got this much of a charging run-at-you lineup like we're seeing out of Z-Factor.
Yeah, they just have consistent low cooldown stuns, disables, long range too. That's the other thing about Dops, is that Spirit can stun from a mile away. You do it with no personal risk.
That's the reason why I was thinking that this game was so heavily revolving around Dops. Because she's got to be able to land those from a long distance, because otherwise you have no way of holding them down. But now, all of a sudden, when you're landing those Echo Stomps, the game feels like it's completely under control.
It definitely does. One thing, though, is Dire are doing a pretty good job of holding this lane. They are going to lose the tower, but Radiant will not be able to pursue for more at this stage.
Even with the amount of time that they're able to buy, they're not getting any foothold back into the game. In the last 4 minutes, we've gone from a 9,000 to a 6,000 gold advantage for the Radiant.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, you know, I think part of it comes down to, there it is! I was just about to say it, the lack of the smoke play. You have to push out mid, and then you have to look for the smoke, but they're not going to get the chance, as Void will manage to dodge out that silence. Likely going to have Abaddon. I was going to say pop his ulti, but it was cooldown, so it will be safe. And Chronosphere is up. They do have an opportunity. The Heaven's Halberd, though, is available for DK.
That Halberd is so important. The Void will soon be able to ignore the passive component of it, but the active is still going to leave him disarmed for 3 seconds, and he has not finished that MKB just yet.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's going to be rough for him to get there. He needs to find... They need to find the Chrono onto, like, the Drow and another of the squishy heroes, like the Veno or the Lich, and then follow that up with an Epicenter or something. But I don't think they're going to be given that opportunity. Is Drow playing very far back, and Radiant playing very split.
The difficulty is you really need to find exactly 3 heroes in that chrono. You need to find Venomancer, Lich, and Elder Titan, and there is no way that they are going to be playing close enough together to get all 3 of those.
Absolutely. They are maintaining an excellent spread. Is what you
Social
like to
distancing.
See. It's good Dota, and it's good policy in 2020.
Yeah, we definitely see that even though they have the sickness on their team, they've got the Venomancer, none of them are catching it.
Oh, the epicenter does come in. Dragon Knight getting very low, but a Force Staff will come out to save him. Then a big stomp to prevent any further chase. Meanwhile, Veno is just taking over the bot side. Decides that he's going to push in there. And that was the epi, and now I don't know how you deal damage into the chrono. This sniper only has a Maelstrom.
Your only other option's Firestorm. And that's going to be a decent chunk of damage over time, but it's not going to be a kill closer. Not by any means.
You know what? I want to go back to the distancing, because you know what? Maybe this whole situation with the coronavirus has taught Dota players how to stand spread. They never do in my pubs, and we get 5-man RP'd.
Well, that's because someone in your pubs always ends up wicked sick.
That is true. You know what? That's an excellent point. So I think...
But this is...
I was just going to say, I think Radiant is just going to wait for the next Roshan. May respawn in 10 seconds. They're not under any pressure to win this game. Dire... Their situation looking dire. They have to make a move, but they're not being allowed to.
And I mean... The sniper is still looking for his Maelstrom, getting picked off before it can even go to Secret Shop. He's going to be without that item for at least 2 more minutes, and that's more than enough time for Roshan to respawn whenever it's ready to.
It is up in 49 seconds, but Radiant see the Void and the Abaddon not there, and they'll just go up onto the high ground with the Dragon form.
Absolutely. With the damage that it brings out over time, the tower
They get a stun, but it gets purged by the Abaddon. Faceless Void still not arriving for this fight, so it will be very difficult. Xenon, though, taking a lot of damage. But the double Force Staff gets him out. Now Void's here. Void's looking. 30 minutes passes. XP for Radiant.
Yeah, even though he's got the Chronosphere, as soon as he is seen on the map, just look at the spread from Z-Factor. They're refusing to offer Kira any juicy targets.
Absolutely. Now they wait on the high ground. Faceless Void coming up. A Blink Stun is available. DK chooses not to commit it. Waiting patiently. The Dragon form will fade. A bit harder to land now, but Radiant still want it. They're still positioned for it. Oh, finally, mistimed, unfortunately.
Almost that Dragon Tail. We finally do see the MKB out for Faceless Void, so he managed to farm that up. He's looking for a BKB, but that is a long way away.
Yeah, that's pretty hopeful. I'll say it again. I think Victoria's Secret here. If they don't make a play, they'll just slowly lose the game. And it's tough because making a play is very high risk. But I think if they choose not to, I don't think at this stage Radiant can make a mistake big enough in a push, assuming they play well.
It's the slow hemorrhage of death. We see it all the time. You get choked out of the map, and then the only gold that you get is what the enemy team is willing to give to you.
Yeah, and then they're going to lose the next Roshan. They're going to be forced to play even more passive. You got to push out a wave or two, and you got to make the Hail Mary smoke. And as Radiant are going in the pit with the DD, it might be too late.
Abaddon's got the smoke.
Gonna pop it.
Roshan and dangerously low.
Well, they're not going to get to Roshan fast enough. That DD proving to be too powerful.
Even though there is a smoke available on Dom Bomb, they're not even going to attempt this. He uses the book just to try and get a few more levels, get a little bit more in the Curse of Avernus.
Drow is feeling so good. It's going for a butterfly. Even though there's an MKB, he doesn't care.
It's good against the sniper, if nothing else.
I
You
mean,
only
it's
get
good
hit by the
damage, too.
Maelstrom procs.
Drow
Yeah.
is never going to complain about having more agility. Oh,
The blink in.
Xenon has gone in, but I don't know if they're going to be able to really follow up on him, except the stomp comes out, does get purged. But now Underlord in a very risky position. He will fall.
Dops. Just having the game of her life, getting those Echo Stomps, still disabling so much of Victoria's Secret.
Absolutely, and Kira is looking for something, but he is... Maybe? No! The stun will prevent him, and he will get eliminated. Does have the buyback, forced to immediately pop it. Abaddon also getting low. He'll get healed up. Radiant take the mid tower, but Kira's back, and this could be a huge chrono. He gets 5 heroes in it, but I don't think it's gonna matter as he loses the Sand King. There's no follow-up, and he will die back. Sand King has bought back, tries to do something, but with the sniper going down, I think that may just be game. And indeed, it is called.
Fantastic job from Z Factor. I'm a believer.
You gotta believe.
I can't believe this personally. The underdog's coming through in a decisive manner.
Yeah, and we'll have to see if they'll pull off the 2-0 in the next game. We'll take a short break and then I'll be back. Stage has to go, though.
All right, thank you very much.